on. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, goodness. Opening up's going to be quite large. It's like 300 points at the moment. Because we nuked 500 overnight. Pretty chill. Because, what was it? It was like Israel bombed Iran or something. Yeah. So that's fucking going on. So today's price action is probably going to be absolute piss. Absolute dog shit. And it's a Friday. So Friday, Israel gambling. We love it. So this is, we've already touched the CE of this 1 hour gap. And this is CE of the range of the hourly at the top of the bottom. Opening gap starts up here. This is the daily 5 hour gap that we touched in 2 days ago. So I think like a long out to opening gap on open, potentially. But then we also have relative equal lows here. So longs and shorts are both on the card, which is not what you like to see, but is what it is. Relative equal highs up here on the 5 hour gap CE. Looks like price is pushing towards that, which gives me confidence for going long for the opening gap, which is like right now. So let's see what price wants to do. It's probably going to take out the highs. Yep. See where it pushes up to in the opening gap. Okay, so that's midpoint of the range. Absolutely running from open. It's up 100 points pretty much already. There's not really much to say to us. It's just kind of rallying. Like, you are in this 50-minute gap, but you've dug up quite high, so I would expect it to go to the opening gap C. Price is probably just slowing down to dig back into this fair value gap, because it's the first presented one after market open. Did it inverse like hasn't it inversed like a 5-minute or anything though? It says you don't have much confidence for the trade other than like price dug up quite far, but it's still respecting. Because you could make an argument to say that we're so far past the CE of the hourly that it's going to inverse it, essentially going to opening gap. That could be an argument to be made. How did we do this? Okay, nice to body to respect it. In no means is this a good setup. You're just essentially chasing price to get to this opening gap CE. I do expect price to go to opening up C. But it's not a good setup because the 15-minute body is still respecting the bottom of the opening gap, the lower quarter, and you're yet to like inverse any of the fair value gaps, so you are just pure gambling. Did break this high though, so you do expect price to rise. Very nice. That will go to opening gap. Very nice. It should be pretty smooth sailing to the opening gap now. But yeah, that was just using first presented fair value gap. So any fair value gap after 9:30 that's formed, like the first one that's formed, you use it to target opening gap C. It's quite a nice concept, but we were just yet to inverse like any fair value gaps. Like we dug quite far into them, which gives you like a little bit of confidence, but to like not inverse any before the entry just made it a little bit too risky to enter. Is that along with yeah, that at the entry point of the fair value gap, the 15-minute body was beneath this lower quartile, which you could have reversed off of. It's actually doing like the weekly price action where it just doesn't go to a price target. This week's price action has been so weird. I think Monday we had like extreme chop. Tuesday I didn't look. Wednesday did I? Actually, I don't think I looked Wednesday either. And then yesterday, it like just dragged, and then just randomly spiked up at like 3:10, and just rallied for the rest of the day. And like it's just struggling to get the price objectives at market open. Like it's been taking ages to get the price, like liquidity pools at market open. So if you look at last week, you'd definitely expect if you break these highs, you're just going to accelerate to opening gap CE, because that's the liquidity pool that is clearly aiming for. But then you have this weird breakdown today. Like it's not making entire sense. Like sure we're in fair value gaps, but why reach up so high just to stop there? Like, I don't know. Like sure, it looks like we're still respecting PD arrays here, right? We've got a VI and a fair value gap, but the more you test them, the less trustworthy they become. Like, see, now it just has to break through them. Like, it's very interesting. Very strange price action this week. Which I guess makes sense if they're just gonna like start bombing each other. Just smacked my cup into the side of my desk. Just another choppy morning. Love to see it. Again, it's completely justified because we have like a war looming on us, and yeah, it's like dropped 500 points overnight. So to expect any kind of fast price in the morning is kind of unrealistic, but yeah. Not really much to go off. Actually, Loki falling asleep. I'm just so tired today. Yep. Random spike up at 9:50. There is 3 o'clock news actually. Where is it? Consumer sentiment. Trump at National Security Council meeting. Interesting. At 11 o'clock. US time. So I reckon he's going to give his speech on what's just happened over in Iran. Still didn't touch the open gap C. There's not really much to take away from this other than, like, obviously don't be looking at the market on a Friday where a country has just been bombed. It's dropped 500 points overnight. Left two massive, or three hourly fair value gaps. It's like, yeah. I would take that as a sell model if it had touched the opening gap C, because it's left this open, has a possibility of going back up to it. But if you have this kind of structure, it's like high and high that's wrapped, and then it's broken down as low here. You look for like a fair value gap entry here on the 15-second or the 1 minute. So like one of these two. One of these two here. You'd be entering off of one of these two. In the case where it takes a buy side here and it's also taken a buy side on this high. So say this had wicked above the opening gap CE, and then you get this structure on the 1 minute, right? Where it's broken this low. And you drop down to the 15-second. Look for fair gaps like here. This is your entry, your first stage. It will then break down further. And it might take like a liquidity, like sell side, like here. You know, it's already done it, but like in the case where this is like lower down, right? It swaps this and then goes back up to another fair value gap that is created after these two. That's second stage. And then an entry on the second stage is when it completely nukes down, and it would go for like your final TP. That would be like here today, right? If it completely inverses off a sell model, that would be your final TP. But because it hasn't taken the opening gap CE, it's just taken this high, and it hasn't really taken the second liquidity pool, other than like digging further into this gap. Which I guess counts, but like not taking opening gap C that is just strange. And like I said, leaves you open to the risk of it just going back up to it. Let's see how it plays out. You want this fair gap to be inversed. And then your second stage should be a fair value gap that's inside of here, so it'd be like this top one, right? After it inverses the fair value gap, obviously. Okay, it's nice. So now your second stage, because you had a first stage in your 15-second, right? So your second stage would be this fair value gap inside of, well, hopefully this inverse, but it doesn't look like it's going to inverse because you have this fair value gap, right? It's not perfect. I'm just kind of walking you through how a cell model would work. But it's not a perfect case because in a cell model you wouldn't really see this on your opposite. You'd see like this. Essentially, you want more like jagged cell side rather than just you're trying to inverse their value gaps here, right? But on like a cleaner cell model, you're probably just looking at jagged cell side like this, right? So you got relative equals there, and I guess a final TP up there, right? Just for an example, right? Hopefully we get cleaner ones in the future, and then you have like an actual live stream where, holy 3 o'clock news, you have an actual example of what a clean cell model would look like. I think we've already done some streams where they've been clean cell models, but none like completely perfect. And this is also all about the risk, right? Your opening gap C is still open. 3 o'clock news could target that. There's just no way price is being this strange. It's going for no liquidity at all. Well, it's just going very slowly and just chopping. Okay. So we have respect this big CE or a 5 minute gap and the 1 minute gap. So now I'd expect price to actually do something, such as reaching for the opening gap C. Okay, well, there's just no point watching chop for any more of my time. I mean, hopefully, I don't really know what you can take away from this other than like what I said about cell models, I guess. Maybe like characteristics of chop, like just not reaching for either side of liquidity is obviously going to be when you're in chop, right? How to identify it beforehand is kind of harder because you could just risk entering the trade like here, right, and then not reach full TP. But that's why, like, by the time you've dug up to here, your TP should be in profit. Sorry, your stop loss should be in profit. And after that, you have like things like it doesn't break the low, but then breaks high, still doesn't go for the objective, and then comes back down. Like, price will just feel off. And also you have the external conditions rather than just price. So you have a looming war and shit like that, and obviously nuking 500 points overnight because of that. You can just kind of, it's not guaranteed obviously, but you can kind of like see in hindsight. Oh no, sorry, what am I even trying to say? You can see in advance that price is going to be shit because of conditions, like dropping 500 points overnight, having a looming war, and it's taking ages to go to any side of liquidity. Like at the start of the market, when it broke this high, it should have just gone to CE, right? That's how we've been experiencing it for the past 2 weeks. And just when it suddenly switches, you're like, okay, price isn't behaving how it was previously, and conditions are going to be unfavorable. But, you know, it all comes from personal experience as well, right? You're going to have to look at the market yourself, kind of get a feel for the market, which sounds like bullshit, like, but it is true. You do get a feel for the market, and you can see when it's behaving and not behaving regularly. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the stream. Hopefully we get some better price action next week, or not. Depends if a war breaks out. Cool. So it's just nuking, but there was no real setup. You had chop and it decided to just break down. Like, what can you do? Price is just acting however it wants. But yeah, I'll catch you next week, guys. Bye 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 bye.